Shelby Miller is a National League All-Star for the first time. Despite only 5 wins and winless in his last 9, he'll bring his blazing right arm into play tonight against the Rockies at Coors Field in Game 2. Something not often said in Denver this year. It's a beautiful night for baseball. Tonight it's Game 2 of 4 between the Braves and the Colorado Rockies. Another big crowd expected for fireworks night. They have them every night on the field here at Coors Field. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe, welcome to the ballpark. Shelby Miller gets the ball and will try to tame this Rocky offense, the 3rd lowest ERA in baseball. That'll be put to the test in Game 2 tonight. Should be a fun matchup. A waterlogged victory for the Rockies last night. The old saying, Joe, good pitching gets out good hitting. Shelby Miller's one of the National League's best.
And he's pitched well against the Colorado Rockies in his career, too, including one game last year where he gave up hit to the first hitter and then retired 27 in a row. So he knows all about this lineup and how good they are. But for Shelby Miller, he's coming off a start against the Phillies. It's, oh, well, what's new? He shut him out into the 7th inning and got 0 runs of support. That's right, he left with a 0-0 tie when he hooked up with Cole Hamels. But that's been the story for Shelby all year long. He only has 5 wins because the Braves have not scored even 1 run for him in his last 4 starts while he's been in the ballgame. Only 1 run in his last 5 starts while he's been in the ballgame. His run support is the 7th lowest in all of baseball. Hopefully that won't happen in this ballpark tonight. Hopefully things will turn around and we can put a W on the board before the All-Star game.
Yeah, the Braves give Shelby Miller 2 runs per game while he's in the game. If that happens tonight, we got problems. Hopefully that won't be the case in Game 2. When we come back, a resurgent A.J. Pierzynski will talk about hitting in Coors and his job behind the plate handling this very young Atlanta staff. Fun night of baseball ahead in Denver. We're back in a moment.
Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
Welcome back to Coors Field, and hopefully the beginning of a winning weekend for the Bravos in Game 2 of this 4-game set with the Rockies. A good Friday to you, everyone. I'm Andre Aldridge, and in this, the Braves' 87th game of the season, well, A.J. Pierzynski will be playing for the 59th time. That has to be a little bit of a surprise as he continues to handle his business, but I tell you what, he has been more than up to the challenge this season. And offensively, he is laughing in the face of Father Time, especially with his offensive production. The swing, just as sweet as ever, and his expectations are the same as always. AJ is a focus of our Lowe's Never Stop Improving numbers as we spotlight what he's done over the last 10 games. His teammates are leaning on his leadership and production, so what they're seeing to them is no surprise at all.
More impressively, what he's done, like I said, offensively, he's well decorated, but, to handle the pitching staff, that he has handled, I think we should be tipping our hat.
Yeah, he still got it, man. Like I said, especially, the first 2 months, he looked like George Brett up there hitting 400. So, he's a definite integral part of this team, and like I said, we're lucky to have him. And like I said, he's over there probably listening to this interview and going to critique me on that too.
Well, I tell you, the George Brett imitation is pretty good, but more than anything is handling the pitching staff. A.J. told me about pitching here in Coors Field, especially with the young arms, and although Shelby Miller's an all-star, he's only 24 years of age. You've got to stay aggressive and keep Coors Field in your mind, but not let it change your game at all. All right, folks, it's coming up in just a moment. After a quick timeout, Chip and Joe have the call. Game number 2 of the Braves and the Rockies. It's going to be good. It's going to be better than last night. Enjoy the ball game.
Delta Airlines, and your local Ford dealer.
Perfect baseball night in Denver. A far cry from what we saw last night. Looks like we'll get things started, hopefully completed without any interruption from Mother Nature tonight. Braves dropped the ball game last night. Final score, Rockies 5, Atlanta 3. Let's see if Atlanta can get the offense going very early tonight. Jace Peterson leads off the Academy Sports and Outdoors starting 9. Maben, Markakis, Kelly Johnson cleans up. Chris Johnson's killing the ball in this ballpark. He'll give Uribe a night off at third base. A.J. Pierzynski's behind the plate. Gomes, Simmons, and Shelby Miller searching for that elusive 6th win against a man just called up by the Rockies organization.
Just signed by the Rockies organization on July 7th. That's Gonzalez Herman. 7 games in his career against the Braves, most recently with the Mets, a very high ERA, no record. He was only in a handful of games this year in the big leagues with the Cubs, only 6 innings in the big leagues. So it's been a while since he's been out there. They don't expect a lot from him today. They're hoping for 3 to 4 innings max, maybe somewhere around the 40 to 45 pitch mark, just to try and save the bullpen. Fastball, slider, changeup. Good changeup. That's his best pitch. Fastball 89 to 91.
The defense behind Herman looks different tonight in Game 2. Daniel Descalso takes over for Tulowitzki at shortstop. Barnes, Blackman, and Gonzalez left to right in the outfield. No Carlos Gonzalez. Paulson, an Atlanta kid, is at first base. Arenado and LeMahieu, they're all-stars. Nick Hundley is behind the plate. Joe's right. Saving the bullpen will be key for the Rockies. They used 8 different pitchers in the game last night. Scheduled starter tonight, David Hale, pitched in relief of Kyle Kendrick after the 2-hour-plus rain delay, and he got hurt. That's why Herman was rushed into the game tonight. And his first pitch of the game is in for a strike. Jace Peterson had a bases-loaded double that drove in 2 runs last night. He's up to 37 runs batted in. And that's taken low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Herman, not a total stranger for the Braves. They've seen him 7 times. He's given up 6 earned runs in 7 1/3 innings. And the game off to a good start for Jace Peterson. A blue pit to left.
Arenado was really cheating in, thinking Jace might try to bunt. And he just lost one right over his head. Got a shadow to deal with tonight for a while that you can plainly see. Expect to give up line drives and extra base hits here. You just don't want to give up a bunch of those if you're one of the pitchers.
Cameron Maybin has a 9-game hitting streak this month. He was 1 for 3 last night. And a bouncing ball up the middle. LeMahieu flips to the shortstop and the turn to first in time. Nice turn by Descalso. Maybin bounces into a double play.
First pitch to Cameron, and he got jammed.
So Herman, 2 outs on 4 pitches. He'll face Nick Markakis. Nick with 28 RBIs and a .295 average. He's 4 hits away from 100 for the Braves this year. And that's a strike. One, 2.
Well, you've got to figure there's a lot of emotion running through Herman right now, coming into a new ball club. New uniform, new stadium, one that's traditionally a hitter's ballpark, and trying to make a good impression.
He certainly did that with a very easy top half of the first inning. No runs, a hit, nobody left. Shelby Miller goes to work. We're in the first inning. 24 at home. Overall, Walt Weiss's club 36-49 on the year. They will take aim at Shelby Miller. He of the sparkling 2.07 ERA.
Shelby's stuff against the Rockies has been outstanding. 2-0, 2.04 ERA, 5 walks to 20 strikeouts. He hasn't given up much to them at all. His 4 keys to pitching success. We've already told you a little bit about his lack of run support. So number 1 key tonight, hit 2 home runs. Help yourself. And then the stretch and the pitch. He's going to be working out the stretch no matter what here in this ballpark. Seems like there's always runners on. Make good pitches. When those guys get in scoring position, that'll be key tonight.
And he fires a strike to former Georgia Texter Charlie Blackmon, who had a couple of hits last night. And he was a little late. It's quickly 0-2. Time for Shelby to be rewarded for his great work. 9 straight starts without a victory for the Braves right-hander, despite a 2.80 ERA. And that just missed a corner. Good try. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, he was sharp against the Phillies, wasn't he?
Yes.
8 strikeouts in that outing and had everything working. One of his best fastballs of the year.
I'm a guy that believes wins mean something for a starting pitcher, and they are a gauge of how well a man has pitched. Have been since the dawn of this game. But for those who feel that the win stat is overrated, Shelby Miller could make a case for that argument this year. As he just broke the bat of Blackmon on a ground out to second. Shelby's given up 2 runs or less in 14 of his 17 starts this year, but has only won 5 games. He's off to a good start. He got the ball on the ground, broke a bat in the process. Here's the rest of the Rockies lineup presented by Academy Sports. LeMahieu, an all-star. Arenado joins him as well. Gonzalez in right, Paulson at first, Hundley, Descalso, Barnes, and Herman. That's low and away, ball 1. DJ LeMahieu. Is 6 for 12 on the homestand for Colorado, and is the 8th best hitter in the league.
He credits Richie Zisk. Remember Richie?
Yeah,
he was his manager in A-ball, and LeMahieu was being asked to try and pull the ball more. He was more of a center field to right field type guy, opposite field, and he said that's just kind of who I am. And he credits Richie with showing him how to pull the ball, though, if you have to keep the big leagues from really wearing you out inside. He said Richie told him if they figure you can't hit inside, then that's all you're going to get. So here's some things you need to work on, and allowed him to continue to hit the ball the other way. It showed him a few things that really turned him into a really good hitter and a tough out.
And he shows it there. Got ahead in the count. Drove a 3-1 pitch into right field for the first Colorado hit. So here's that first, the stretch and pitch Ford key for Shelby Miller. Nolan Arenado, 24 homers, 68 RBIs. Doubled and singled twice in his first 3 at-bats last night. I'm amazed at what a difference 24 hours makes at Coors Field. All that diamond dry looks to be scraped off the infield. It looks perfect. No standing water anywhere. Alan's crew did an amazing job last night and again tonight. Ripped toward the gap in left center. Gomes on his horse. He'll play it off the wall, but LeMahieu's going to come around and score standing up. It's a double for Arenado, and the Rockies have struck first.
This guy had a lot of the Braves talking after the game last night. They were wondering, does he ever hit something that's not right on the barrel, that's not right on the sweet spot? Well, the noise on the crack of the bat tells you not too often. He drilled another one.
'69 RBIs.
It's pretty good where I come from.
Yeah, this is their 86th game. Here's Cargo. And he didn't get it. Strike one. 3 doubles for Carlos Gonzalez in his first 3 at-bats last night. A career high for a single game. Letter high, and he missed it. It's 0-2.
These guys don't get cheated. They up and down their lineup, they are cutting that bat loose.
One ball, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Shelby's first strikeout. Cargo's retired. 2 are out.
Another good heater above his hands. It went a little higher than that, and he took it the last pitch, but he thought he could connect there and was tardy.
Shelby struck out 18 men in his last 2 games. There's his first, and here's Ben Paulson. Paulson, a former Clemson Tiger out of Kell High School. He was an all-state performer in the state of Georgia. And maybe the heir apparent at first base in Colorado. Hitting .284, 5 homers, 19 knocked in. To short. And Simmons with the pegged first in time, and that's the inning. A run on 2 hits. Nolan Arenado continues his all-star work at the plate. He's put the Rockies in front by an early run. Braves Live. It's the premiere of Driven. John Smoltz, a Hall of Fame career. At 11:30 Eastern Time, here's an excerpt.
I am the first pitcher to ever go in the Hall of Fame with Tommy John. I don't know that there'll be another. Not only do we not have complete games anymore, not only do we not have 200-plus inning pitchers anymore, what numbers are they going to ultimately achieve? 3,000 strikeouts, 3,000 innings, 300 wins, all of those are going to go away under the current form of the way baseball is setting itself up today.
I understand what he's saying because there's been such a lockdown on pitchers in terms of trying to keep them from getting hurt, keep them healthy. But there are not a lot, there are quite a few 200-inning pitchers still. Now, that number's probably going to start dwindling. He's right about that.
Kelly Johnson leads off for the Braves in the second. You don't want to sound like your grandparents. Oh, back in my day, everybody threw 400 innings and struck out 600 guys in a year. As Wynn delivers high, but there's no mistaking, starting pitching is a very valuable, very difficult commodity to come by. That's why the Braves have made an organizational decision to draft almost entirely pitching in this amateur draft.
Never have enough.
Yeah.
You never have enough. But his point is well made regarding Hall of Fame type numbers. How do you achieve those Hall of Fame numbers now with the way baseball is with regard to the pitchers?
That's over the outside corner. Kelly Johnson didn't think so. He is struck out, and there's out number one. So join us after Braves Live. Driven John Smoltz, a Hall of Fame career. That's presented by Toyota. We'll have more excerpts later on tonight, I'm sure. Chris Johnson bats with one out. He's our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot.
And as we talked about it last night, tremendous numbers here in this ballpark. Lefties, righties, it doesn't matter. Another 3-hit game here last night.
Braves have their KJ, CJ, AJ trio in order in the lineup here in the second inning. Well hit toward right. Cargo drifts back in the sunshine and makes the play. Step shy of the fence.
That ball didn't sound like it was hit well at all.
No. I didn't notice it until you mentioned it last night. That's 375 out there in right field. That is very short.
Yeah, and it never really occurred to me until last night looking at it too that that's 15 feet shorter than Turner Field in that spot. And we're playing in Denver.
I was asked on a radio show locally about this ballpark and what I do, and I mentioned I grow the grass, and they know how to do that out here nowadays, as deep as they could on the infield.
Yes, they do.
I mean, I'm talking ankle high if you can get it that way. But at that 375 sign, why not run a plexiglass wall from the edge of the scoreboard out to where the Braves bullpen is? Give the pitchers something to that part of the ballpark, especially when the left-handed bats come up.
Yeah, they could do that.
And all the hitters would complain, oh, they're trying to help the pitchers. Well, that's what they need here. They score a ton of runs. They get enough hits. Popped up. Arenado in the dappled sunshine at the third base line makes the play. Gonzalez Hermen's pitch count was going to be limited to 40. The way he's going, that might be 5 innings worth of work. He's looking good early. first inning hits. You know about the Atlanta outfield. Johnny Gomes is the man in left tonight. Maven and Markakis join him in center and right. Chris Johnson, Kelly Johnson at the corners. A.J. Brzezinski's behind the plate. Simmons and Peterson, the Braves middle infield defense. Nick Hundley's the catcher. He'll lead things off for Colorado. Rockies had 16 hits last night. Hundley had 2 of them, including an RBI. And it's a strike.
Yeah, early in the game, they were wrapping out doubles like there was no problem. He had 4 doubles and a homer through the first 3 innings, and that kind of staked him.
And you know what? Jake Brigham did a heck of a job to hold him to that.
Yeah.
Alex Wood threw 2 pitches, then a 2-hour and 6-minute rain delay chased him from the game. Brigham came in and threw 4 innings of relief. And a little pop into right field. Markakis drifts in. He's got it for the first out.
The only guy that has gotten around on a pitch so far is Arenado. Now, LeMahieu lined one to right, something he likes to do, go the other way. Everybody else is getting jammed or late and popping it up. But maybe that's another testament to Arenado and how well he sees the ball and what a great swing he's got.
Here's Descalso hitting a .196.
And that goes for both teams right now.
Is Shelby's fastball good enough just to stick with fastballs first time through the order against Colorado?
No, I wouldn't try to do that. It's good. He's been 95.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that. We know that he can reach back for a little extra, but I wouldn't do that with this lineup. Got to mix it up a little bit. He stayed pretty much fastballs to Gonzalez when he struck him out.
Miller's former teammate with the Cardinals, Daniel Descalso, pops one up, foul ground, and that'll be easy for Chris. 2 outs.
Descalso now 0 for his last 20.
And here's Brandon Barnes. Barnes, an outfielder by trade. That's where he's playing tonight. He's in left.
I think it's interesting that Shelby Miller is pitching tonight, and Tulowitzki took a night off with a hitting streak working.
Unless he tweaked something late. He came out of the game in the 9th inning last night, too. Strike 1.
He's 1 for 4 in his career against Shelby. Tulowitzki is, with 3 strikeouts. Just curious.
It might have been tipped by Barnes. It's 0-2. Inside the bag at first. Barnes around first on his way to second. And he's got a 2-out double. Colorado's had a couple of those type hits in this series. One of them by David Hale last night.
Well, he was late too. Ball ran up and in on him. And basically fought it off right down the line. And another double.
Herman's a perfect 2 for 2 at the plate in his career. 2 big league at bats, 2 strikeouts. And that swing might tell you why. 0-1.
See the shadows playing havoc with the hitters right now, and that's a good reason why they are late on a lot of swings.
And that'll retire the side. Herman has struck out all 3 of his big league at bats, and we head to the 3rd inning. Out in center field, got the beautiful trees, the ivy-clad wall with the hitter's background, and the Rockies have taken an early lead over Shelby Miller, who's our Home Depot tools from the dugout subject.
There you go. No runs of support while he's been in the ballgame in his last 31 1/3 innings pitched. Longest streak in either league. Tools from the dugout. Go look in the bat rack and see if there's any tools in there that might be effective while Shelby's pitching tonight. 4 starts, no runs while he's in the game. 1 run in his last 5 starts.
Well, this is the man that could change that. Johnny Gomes. He's got a 3-game hit streak. Another man that's had good luck at Coors Field. Airman missed inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Airman is making his first big league appearance since May 4th, while with the Cubs in St. Louis. He's been with the Yankees, Rangers, Cubs, and now the Rockies organizations this year. And Johnny just missed it. Fly ball toward left. Barnes is in. He's got it to sunshine. 1 out.
Did you say this year?
This year. Began 2015 with the Yankees. Designated for assignment January 13th. Was traded to Texas January 20th. DFA'd the next day. Cubs acquired him on waivers January 23rd. DFA'd him February 4th. Then was outrighted to AAA. Cubs brought him to the big leagues April 19th. Sent to Iowa May 4th. DFA'd July 4th. Claimed by the Rockies July 7th.
Usually you go through those teams and you're telling me that he got his career started way back in 1947.
Right?
This year.
This year.
And about 4 of those before the season even started.
But he got to the bigs with the Cubs. And now is here with the Rockies and looking good. Hamilton at 256, 3 homers, 29 knocked in. Can the hitters see right now?
Nope.
And that's taking nothing away from Herman.
Well, he's mixing his pitches pretty well, and he's featuring a little change-up and an off-speed breaking ball, but very, very difficult to see, except for Nolan Arenado.
To short. Descalso, tricky hop, good play. 2 outs. Couple of ground outs from Herman tonight, including a first inning double play, and now he'll face Shelby Miller, who's 1 for 29 at the plate. Aaron Laffey was slated to be the second Rockies pitcher. Might see him as soon as the 4th inning. Shelby had a good swing but fouled it away. 0-2 is your count. Shelby's going to the All-Star game. Hope he pitches well. We await word as to who will be the National League's All-Star Game starter. Or Bruce Bochy. Zach Greinke might be a great pick. Garrett Cole might be a great pick. Cole's pitching tonight and beating the Cardinals. It's a 5-2 Pirates lead in the 5th inning. Game 2 of a huge 4-game series between St. Louis and Pittsburgh.
Good cut. He's trying to hit one of those 2 homers.
Two and two. From 0-2, now it's a full count. And he lost him. Second base runner of the night for Atlanta. Shelby Miller walks with 2 outs.
And it's something. Guy's pitching great. He's making a wonderful impression. Limited number of pitches. Even though Lappy's up, he's pitched well enough to go a 4th inning if they wanted him to. And then he walks the pitcher after having him 0-2.
First pitch popped up. Long run LeMahieu, and he got there and makes the catch on the line. Gonzalez Herman, 3 very impressive innings in tough circumstances for the Rockies.
view, isn't it?
Yep. Just a few short months, those mountains will be snow-clad and capped. AT&T Universe Trivia question time. Shelby Miller's an all-star in his first year with the Braves. Who was the last Brave all-star selected in his first year with the team? We'll ponder that as we hit the top of the order for the Rockies in the home third.
Remember, Brian McCann was the last Braves player to be the only Braves selected.
Well, you think, okay, rookie player, that's one possibility. A man acquired by trade, a man signed as a free agent. Greg Maddux. Was Greg Maddux an all-star his first year with the Braves?
I would most definitely think so.
One and two for Charlie Blackmon. And a line drive to right.
He put a good swing on it. Be able to see a little better. The mound is in the sunshine. Fastball belt high down the middle.
I would assume, Joe, from a pitching standpoint, your goal when you pitch in most ballparks is to give up nothing. Here you have to change your mindset into understanding you're going to give up runs. It's limiting damage.
Exactly. And if you're trying to eliminate them scoring one run, and there have been some shutouts pitched here, certainly, then you're going to ask for more trouble. AJ, he did a double take when he didn't hear a strike call on that one from Jeff Kellogg.
AJ was barking at Kellogg in the ninth inning last night over the condition of the playing surface. That discussion might continue tonight.
Yeah, but you know what? He could complain about it, but if the umpires called it, then the Braves lose.
Right.
And that was a point made to AJ in the dugout by his manager and staff that we don't want the game called now. We're behind.
Yeah, it was a close game, too. If it was 10-1, okay, you might be able to make the case. Runner goes, pitch inside. The throw to second is high and late. Blackmon with good speed just swiped his 22nd base.
Good all-around player, hitting in the 280s, double digits in home runs, and his 22nd stolen base. Playing a good center field too.
Blackmon third in the league in steals, behind Billy Hamilton of the Reds and D. Gordon of the Marlins. So a hit means a run for LeMahieu. He's already got a base hit tonight, and he scored the lone run in the game. And Miller didn't get that call. Brzezinski held that pitch for an extra moment.
Shelby was glaring in on that one. PNC Bank Fox tracks. Strike at the bottom of the zone. Didn't get that one either.
So now you got big problems. 2 on, nobody out for Nolan Arenado, who's already doubled to the left center field gap. Arenado best in the big leagues with 33 hits with runners in scoring position and a .440 average. That was before his first inning double.
He's one of the few guys that I can think of that hit with a fairly closed stance these days. Offensive signs from AJ in case there's a bunt or if the runners take off. Left foot just slightly closer to the plate than his right, and it gets more and more that way. He's walking in on it. Remember Hal Morris and his happy feet? He couldn't stand still in the box. Good hitter too.
Arenado 7 for 13 on the homestand.
Watch his left foot. It's going to creep in a little more and a little more.
And he went fishing. Missed a ball, bill of the cap high. So Arenado disposed of on 3 pitches. That's a big out and a big help. 1 down. Now you're a double play ball away from getting out of 3rd inning trouble. And Carlos Gonzalez, the batter, he struck out his first time up.
And chased some bad balls.
And that's low. 1 ball, no strikes. Carlos Gonzalez, a 2-time All-Star. Hand and knee problems have really wreaked havoc on his career the last 3 or 4 seasons. And a swing and a miss. Both runners broke as Miller was in the stretch position. They then broke back towards 2nd and 1st. Shelby threw it home and got a swing and a miss.
Didn't offer that time. One of their outfielders that they've been missing is Corey Dickerson, who had such a terrific year last year. He's on the disabled list with plantar fasciitis, and he was hitting .299, 5 homers when he got hurt.
2 balls, 1 strike. Out of play, foul. And I can't think of another team that offensively can handle the loss of a key offensive player like Corey Dickerson, like the Colorado team can, especially here at home. Pitching, pitching, pitching. Who's going to get people out? Miller, a long look in at A.J. Pierzynski. Now the 2-2 pitch. It missed. Gonzalez was not born and raised a Rocky. Arizona signed him as a non-drafted free agent out of Venezuela. Fewer and fewer players are coming out of there because of the political problems in that South American nation. Oakland acquired him for Dan Herron and Connor Robertson in 2014. Swing and a miss. Gonzalez didn't get it and spun out of the batter's box.
I think he expanded his zone again.
And then the Rockies traded Matt Holliday for Gonzalez, Greg Smith, and Houston Street, their former closer. Back-to-back strikeouts for Shelby. 2 outs, 2 on, and here's Ben Paulson.
It's always the great weapon that Shelby and pitchers like Shelby have when they get in some trouble. They can strike people out. Well, Paulson hasn't spent a lot of time in the big leagues. He earned a spot on the team this year after some good play last September, middle of August and September. But it's not because he wasn't putting up good numbers in the minor leagues. He was putting up real good home run and RBI numbers at both Tulsa and AA and Colorado Springs. In fact, one year he had a good year at Tulsa, and they sent him back to Tulsa again the next season.
Huh. There is ranks among National League rookies.
Yeah, I bet not too many people even know about him.
And it's just a guess, but I would assume that he was blocked here. We had Justin Morneau playing first base for Colorado, and it's a shame for Morneau. More concussion problems for their big slugging first baseman.
Well, there's a guy at war number 17 that was blocking everybody that wore pinstripes and Rockies uniforms no matter where they were in the organization.
Broken bat, roller to third. Chris Johnson at the bag, fielded the ground ball and stretched for the force out.
Oh, that was nice. Good heads up play by Chris.
So Paulson rolls out softly to third. Blackman is forced out. The Rockies may want to take a look at this on review. And apparently Walt Weiss says, nope, he got him out on a good play by Chris Johnson. Clearly out. Inning over. Miller pitches around a leadoff hit and a walk, and we stay 1-0 after 3.
Braves trail 1-0. You know, ball players are notoriously superstitious, but just don't count Cameron Maybin among that bunch. He's headed to the plate now with his 31-inch bat, his Cameron Maybin bat, but he sometimes uses another bat, anybody's bat. Matter of fact, used Nick Markakis' bat the last homestand. Told me he's done his best work with the Chris Johnson bat because it feels so good. Also 31 ounces. I said, well, then why would you ever change if you're not superstitious and you're doing so well with the Chris Johnson bat? He says, Andre, you just can't be neglecting your babies for too long, Chip.
And that's how good hitters think about their bats, don't they?
Yeah, that's terrific.
So new pitcher out there for Colorado, Aaron Laffey, will take over for Gonzalez Herman, who went 3 innings of 1 hit shutout ball over the first 10 Braves hitters he has seen.
Yeah, he was just called up today. After using all those guys last night, they needed a fresh arm. And he's worked his longest effort in Albuquerque. You saw his numbers there was 5 innings, so he can go multiple innings if they need him.
To second, LeMahieu's got it, and Maybin's the first out. This isn't Laffey's first rodeo. He broke in with the Cleveland Indians back in 2007. Pitched time in Seattle with the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Mets. 2013 in Toronto. Last year, a full year in the minor leagues, where he started 21 games and went 12-6. Rockies, the 7th organization for which Aaron Laffey has pitched.
But not all this year.
As far as I can tell, no. But you know what?
like Herman.
And a strike. Nick Markakis with an eye is 0 for 1. And that's inside. Somebody filled out the lineup card for the Rockies and posted it in the dugout. Wasn't quite sure how you spelled Nick's last name.
Oh, really?
Yeah. See if you can spot it.
Huh. Boy, I hope that wasn't Renee Latchman. You get some heat tomorrow.
Would he be the guy that does the lineup card? Nice play. LeMahieu sliding to his left. 2 nice plays in the 4th inning. 2 ground ball outs. That's a sight for sore eyes for Walt Weiss. 2 down.
Nice play by the all-star second baseman. You say he's going to be the biggest second baseman in National League history or baseball history?
All-star game history, yeah.
Wow.
Drafted as a shortstop by the Cubs out of LSU, LeMahieu was traded for Ian Stewart. Remember how good a hitter he was? Arenado at third, long throw, and that's the inning. 3 ground ball outs by Aaron Laffey, and he did it in very short order. 1-0 Rockies. We're in the home 4th. Friday, August 14th, when the Diamondbacks are in town. That's sponsored by Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines. The first 20,000 fans through the gates will get a bobblehead featuring the soon-to-be inducted Hall of Famer. Get your tickets today by visiting Braves.com/tickets.
Large Braves contingent going to Cooperstown for the 2nd straight year.
It's a great Hall of Fame class, too. John Smoltz, Pedro Martinez, Randy Johnson, Craig Biggio.
Dick Enberg.
Dick Enberg of the Padres wins the Ford Frick Award. Always a special time as Miller begins the home 4th with a pitch inside to Nick Hundley, who popped out to right his first time up. A rare 1-0 game in Denver. Unfortunately, the Rockies lead it on a 1st inning run. Little pop. That's going to drop in front of Markakis. Did you play in Colorado Springs?
No.
AAA player.
No.
Was there an outfield in the PCL as big as this one? Anywhere?
There was. There was. Phoenix had a gigantic ballpark, 440 to center and 412, 410 to the gaps.
So a ball that's hit like that, you get a good jump. You must feel like you're running forever.
Yeah, that's part and parcel what's wrong with this ballpark. Not wrong with it, but what's so difficult about it is that you've got so much ground to cover that you tend to play a little deeper to try to cut off some of the gappers. And you have so many bloops fall in front of you.
Well, they have the designated hitter in the American League. Why don't we have a special rule here in Colorado? As Descalso bats with a man at first. He popped out his first time up. And he hits one toward the right center field gap, and that's going to roll all the way to the fence. Hundley, the catcher, is going to come around and score. Descalso is going to have a stand-up triple. It's 2-0. His 14th RBI. My point was, let's have a designated fielder.
Like a rover.
Yeah.
That one was letter high, and Descalso, who was 0 for 20, wins the battle against his former teammate here. But see, it takes so long for either of the outfielders to get over to the ball. I mean, you've got so much ground to cover. Nick wasn't even close to cutting it off.
Right.
So then it's just, then you got to race all the way to the wall, and it's a mile out there to the wall, you think.
Yeah, so each defensive team can have a fourth outfielder in this ballpark. They can't hit, but you give something to the pitchers.
Okay, Chip.
Enough? Okay. 2-0 Colorado. The pitch from Miller is in for a strike.
This isn't softball. But, man, does this place play tough. See if the Braves can start hitting some of those gappers and dump a couple in.
They have one hit through 4 innings tonight. And for Shelby Miller, this ballpark is tough enough to pitch in even when your offense gives you runs. He has no margin for error at all while on the mound for the Braves over the last couple of starts. Two balls, 2 strikes. Two and a third innings of no run support for Shelby Miller. And that's back to the screen. It's still 2-2.
Once in a while, when Shelby throws his slider or two-seamer, he slows his delivery coming out, taking the ball out of his glove when he makes his stride, and telegraphs it a little bit. Gives the hitter just a split-second view of something that might be coming that's not 95.
Peterson couldn't get that rocket. It's into center field for a run-scoring hit. Descalso scores. It's now 3-0 Colorado. Barnes 2 for 2.
Another high pitch fought off, kind of like the pitch he hit down the first base line his first time up. In between 2 diving defenders. All right, you got 2. Nobody out. Get the next guy and the next guy and the next guy and get out of the inning. Got the pitcher here who's probably going to bunt. May not have had an at-bat this year playing in the Coast League. I like what Chris Johnson did there. He was right on top of him.
It's the first time Aaron Laffey has pitched in a big league game since starting April 26th, 2013 at the Yankees. Runner goes. Brzezinski's throw is too high, and the runner came off the bag. Barnes slid in safely, popped up. Simmons kept the tag on, and he's out. There's a big break.
Like the way Corey Blazer let you know exactly what happened here, too. Foot comes up, tag goes down. Nicely done by Anderson to keep the tag on him, too. Okay, well, there's your first out.
One ball, one strike to the Rockies pitcher, Aaron Laffey. He shoots one out of play, foul. So official scoring on that play with Barnes. He's caught stealing. 2-6. And now Miller ready for a 2-2 pitch. He struck out the pitcher. There's number 5 for Shelby. 2 outs. Now let's see if he can get Charlie Blackmon. Blackmon with hits in 18 of his last 22 games. He's had an 11-game hitting streak as well for Colorado this year.
When it was discussed that Blackmon might be a guy, a trade piece for the Rockies at or before the deadline, it was said about him that he's the kind of player that you can win with in terms of being a fourth outfielder or better, platoon guy.
Deep left. Gomes on the run. Can't get there at the 390 side. Blackmon at second makes the turn. He's on his way to third. Long throw. He's in safely. Johnny kept going and going and going and got to the track but couldn't haul it in, and that's the second triple of the inning for Colorado.
One was a gapper on the ground, this one in the air, and that pitch was not even a strike, but it was up again and allowed him to reach it. And when it's 390 out there and you can't figure out why the ball keeps carrying. Welcome to Coors Field.
So 2 hits for Blackmon. Here's LeMahieu. He singled, scored, and walked.
Big sequence coming up for this game right here.
Another shot toward the gap. Maben on the run. Still going, still going. He can't get there. That'll bounce off the warning track and into the seats. Gomes and Maben might need an IV after this inning.
Cameron must have been playing him at right center, which is where you play him. I mean, he likes to go the other way. Golly, another letter high pitch, though. Skied into center, and Cameron's on his horse for a long time and wasn't sure where he was with respect to the wall. See Shelby's reaction. that's part of what you have to deal with here. There's just so much room to cover. I mean, Johnny Gomes nowhere in the neighborhood.
As soon as this ball was hit, he was looking for help.
Yeah, Cameron actually was playing him on the left field side of. Oh, that's the other one. Sorry.
So reset for Shelby Miller. 3 runs on 5 Colorado hits, 2 singles, 2 triples, and a double. And now you face Arenado again. And that went all the way to the screen. Arenado's looking out at Shelby Miller. Miller looking in at the Colorado hitter.
High and tight. Wake up call. Don't dig in. The difficult problem for Shelby was that he thought he got out of the inning when he got the fly ball. What looked like a fly ball from Mayhew. It's not going out of the ballpark. It's a high pop bottle rocket, and still just too much ground to cover.
That's popped foul on the right side and into the second row of seats. So here's the positioning of Maybin on the Mayhew fly ball.
Yeah, he's way over there by the umpire behind him. The ball landed out in that corner to the left of the State Farm sign.
I don't know if Johnny either didn't see it or knew he had no chance to get there and was hoping Maybin could. This is pitch number 25 for Shelby Miller in the inning. Ball 3.
One of the things about tonight's outing for Shelby is something we've talked about. We talked about a lot last night. You can't pitch up in this ballpark. And he's had a hard time getting the ball down. Even the strikeouts have been up.
Braves bullpen begins to stir. 3-1 pitch is fouled off A.J. Pierzynski. It's a full count.
Banuelos, who was scheduled to pitch Sunday, has been bumped to the bullpen. Alex Wood will start Sunday instead.
To short. Simmons has it, and that'll retire the side. A productive inning for the Rockies. Some deep fly balls, just too much ground for the Braves outfield to cover. 3 are in. It's 4-0. Shelby Miller shaking his head as the ghosts of Coors Field cost him 3 runs. Glove tossed. Hat went 2. And he needs some help. It's 4-0. Braves have 1 total hit so far through 4 innings tonight.
He does need some help, and he hasn't had any help in his last 9 starts. No wins in his last 9 starts, and he's got a 2.80 ERA.
Chris Johnson, A.J. Pierzynski, Johnny Gomes are the Atlanta hitters. And Chris Johnson slings that bat into the stands about 20 rows behind the Braves dugout.
That one had some height, too.
Sure did.
Fortunately, right in a vacant area.
That bat is broken. So 1 in the stands, 1 in the ash can, and Chris Johnson's the first out. Laffey has come in, retired 4 hitters on 4 ground ball outs. Here's AJ. Braves catcher was the hottest Atlanta hitter coming out of Milwaukee. Coors Field has cooled him off. He's 4 for 5. Has gotten the ball out of the infield once. And rolled foul, strike 1. That's going to drop in for a base hit, the second of the night for Atlanta. And the first for Pierzynski in the series. There's a start, and that'll bring up Johnny Gomes.
I played with a pretty good hitter named Bruce Bhakti in Seattle, and he said at times, talking about lefty on lefty and a guy that's throwing sinkers like this guy is, that sometimes you got to go up there with your pitching wedge. You can't go up there with your driver. And that's kind of what AJ did right there. He just kind of plinked that thing to left field, knowing that this guy's keeping the ball down and it's hard to elevate it.
On ball, no strikes for Johnny Gomes. And up and away.
Johnny might have been looking for something there, 2-0, that off speed and didn't get it.
Had that great shot of the rooftop above the bullpens in right. And it's right at the mile-high mark. It's a new addition. Very popular place to watch the games. It used to be all stadium seating to the roof of the ballpark. As Gomes is walked, 2 on, 1 out. And Simmons is coming up.
It's what you need at this ballpark when you're trailing is free base runners. Maybe being reminded of that by Hundley, that you can't walk people in this ballpark even with a 4-run lead. See if the Braves can parlay it into something good.
Andrelton grounded out to short his first time up. 2 on, 1 out, 4-0 Colorado. The Braves have their second hit and their second walk of the game in this inning. And a shot toward left, but an easy play for Barnes. And played perfectly. Now Shelby will try to help himself with 2 outs.
This would be a good time for one of those 2 homers he's got to hit tonight.
In the air to right. Cargo gallops in. He's going to get there. And the side is retired. No runs, a hit, a walk to left. Bottom of the 5th inning. Rockies in command. Here is the just completed Rockies 4th inning that saw them extend their lead to 4-0.
Had 7 men come to the plate. 5 of them got base hits. 2 triples in the inning, and this fly ball double is out of the reach of Maben in center. Frustration for certain.
Can't worry about what's past. You've got to get after it here in the 5th inning with the 4, 5, and 6 hitters up for the Rockies, and then hope your offense gets something going in the 6th inning. Shelby Miller has handled Carlos Gonzalez tonight. He has struck him out swinging twice. To straight away center. Maben isn't getting that one. "12 home runs for Carlos Gonzalez."
Only the 6th allowed by Shelby Miller, but a tee shot to straightaway center. Wow. Power and Coors Field combined there. for a 420-foot home run on a pitch that was borderline strike.
So the Rockies' lead is 5-0. 10 hits for them already. 10 hits against the man that has the third best ERA in baseball coming into tonight's action. Broken bat. That's going to hit the third base bag and trickle into shallow left. It's been that kind of night for Shelby Miller.
Been that way for the Rockies tonight too. Dropping them in, dropping them over, and hitting bases.
Third consecutive inning that the Rockies have put the first two men aboard against Miller. And another visit and another chance for the Braves bullpen to get in some extra work.
I want to show you this swing again of Carlos Gonzalez. He loves to get his arms extended. So there's the target away. Pitch is delivered right there. But when he gets that great extension, remember last night he had 3 doubles and he hit the ball hard to left field and into the corner because he was able to go out and reach those pitches away. That one, he got the barrel on it to straightaway center. When he gets extension, it really goes.
Hard to believe he's only hitting .267 in his home park.
Banuelos is up.
One in, one on, nobody out, 5th inning. Nick Hundley is 1 for 2. A strike. Oh, 1-2. Freddy Gonzalez had a very apt description of this ballpark after the game last night. As that one's up and in. He called Coors Field the House of Pain. Tough place to defend, tough place for your pitchers to pitch, and the Rockies, of course, bad last.
High and tight again. I don't know who it was. It might have been Joe Torre, called it arena football, arena baseball. Playing here.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And popped foul. And it is such a unique place to play. Everywhere else in our sport, the game is about run prevention. It is too here, but you know you're going to give up 5. It's a moral victory if you keep them under 5, it seems. Braves haven't been able to do that tonight. 5-0 Rockies. And a 1-2 pitch to the catcher. And he didn't get a high fastball. Miller strikes out his 6th man. There's the first out. Descalso was signed as a free agent from the Cardinals. He's a jack-of-all-trades player, can play every infield spot for you. In fact, did that for the Cardinals. Descalso played all 4 infield positions on 4 consecutive days. Monday started at 3rd, Tuesday short, Wednesday 2nd, Thursday at 1st. No other Cardinal had done that until he had. 1 ball, no strikes.
Typically your utility guy or your versatile player that you like to try to work in on different spots might play second and third, but he doesn't play short, or he plays short and second, can't play third or first. So that's a great quality.
Rockies love that defensive flexibility. Now they're hoping to see him hit a little more. He entered at 196. He's now batting .202. That's a bouncer foul. 2 balls, 1 strike. First final in the National League is in. The Reds beat Miami 1-0 down at Marlins Park. It was Mike Leake and David Phelps. Marlins beat the Reds 2-0 yesterday behind Jose Fernandez, who set a record, his 14th straight home win. White Sox beat the Cubs today in the Crosstown Classic at Wrigley Field. The White Sox scored the only run of the ball game without benefit of a hit in the 9th inning. And they're starting to play a little better on Chicago's south side. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And way high.
Yeah, even talk after acquiring Jeff Samardzija in the offseason that they would move him at the trading deadline, among others.
With their win today, the White Sox are 40-44, but 10.5 games behind Kansas City at the moment. Full count pitch. Runner goes. Swing and a miss. AJ's throw right on the money. And it's a strike him out, throw him out, double play to end the inning. Shelby needed that. He's got his 7th strikeout. And this game goes to the 6th inning where the top of the Braves order will go to work. 5-0, Colorado the lead. They will perform after the game Sunday, August 9th. A free post-game concert. VIP field and backstage passes are now available. Get them at Braves.com/concerts today. 6th inning. Braves being shut out on 2 hits. 3rd inning for Aaron Laffey. He's got the top of the order for the Braves coming up. Peterson, Maben, and Nick Markakis.
Hardest hit ball of the night by the Braves was a line drive to left by Simmons last inning. Even the 2 hits have been bloops to left by the lefties, Peterson and
to first. Easy out, one man down. And Cameron Maben, the batter, he's 0 for 2, including a first inning double play.
Third inning for Laffey, and as I told you, he's gone as long as 5 innings in a game this year in AAA. And right now he's working like he could go 5 easily. Only 27 pitches.
And he's got one out in his third inning of relief, and missed upstairs to Maben. 1 ball, no strikes. Nationals are winning tonight. They've started the Beltway series with Baltimore. That game's in the 8th inning at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. 2-1 Nationals lead. Gio Gonzalez, Chris Tillman. 2 struggling offenses squaring off this weekend. Sharply hit and past Descalso into left field. So Maben has a hit. His perfect run to start the month of July continues. That's a 10-game hitting streak this month. And he's aboard in front of Nick Markakis.
Like a cutter, a little mini slider. And Cameron rifled it past Descalso. Maybe that's the start of something big here in the 6th.
Hope so. Nick is 0 for 2. He's hit the ball to the right side twice. Strike 1. And Markakis hit by a pitch. That helps. First and second with 1 away.
Well, he did that last inning when he gave up a hit to AJ and then walked Gomes. But a line out and a fly out got him out of the problem. Looked like it got right off of Nick's elbow. Hopefully just a glancing blow.
Chance to settle down Laffey here with Kelly Johnson coming up. Kelly's started his night 0 for 2.
Troy Hawkins loosening up. And Steve Foster, the pitching coach, goes out to talk to his pitcher.
Absolutely beautiful night in Denver this evening. Fireworks after the game. Got a big crowd.
Cloud seating, as they call it around here.
Yeah. Kelly's done good work against left-handed pitching this year. Plays with 3 hits, 1 of them in this inning. Have 2 on, 1 out. And Laffey got it over, a strike. In the air toward Barnes in left, still going back. That ball's going to carry out of here. It's an opposite field home run for Kelly Johnson, and the Braves are right back in the ball game. Finally, some run support for Shelby Miller.
He's probably passed out in the dugout. Nope, he's upright, but thrilled to have a 2-run game. Another, it's that pitch he made a minute ago to Cameron that wasn't very good. Looked like a cutter to Kelly, and that's one of those fly balls that gets up and then it just flattens out when it gets to the apex. Man, it flattens out and keeps carrying.
So that snaps a 34 1/3 inning scoreless run by the Braves offense behind Shelby Miller. And we've got a 2-run game. A lot of time left. And a little more life in the Braves dugout now as Chris Johnson bats and takes the ball outside. A single, a hit batsman, and a 3-run homer. Kelly's 9th. And now taken low. 2 balls, no strikes. First homer by Kelly Johnson, hit against a left-handed pitcher. Only the 11th homer hit by the Braves against a lefty in the first half of the season. Broken bat. That's going to drop in for a base hit.
Chris is probably out of bats by now, but he'll take it.
Yeah, lost one in the stands earlier tonight. He's broken 2 in as many trips since. But that's going to bring the tying run to the plate. It's A.J. Pierzynski.
That's going to do it for Laffey. Even with a left-handed hitter up there, Walt Weiss not taking any chances. I believe he's going to LaTroy Hawkins. He is.
4 hits in 2 1/3 innings for Laffey, including the Kelly Johnson homer. It's LaTroy Hawkins versus A.J. Pierzynski next. Fans, time for our Toyota Tweet of the Week. Who's been the Braves MVP of the first half of the season and why? Tweet us at Fox Sports South using hashtag BravesMVP. And your tweet could be read on the Braves Live post-game show.
The ageless wonder, 42-year-old LaTroy Hawkins, in his 18th year in the big leagues, actually his 19th year in the big leagues, 6'5", 220. Better numbers against lefties than right. Lefties only hitting .214 against him. Right-handers .325. So no hesitation on Walt Weiss's part to bring him in here.
And right back where it came from. Hawkins to second for 1, on to first. 2 for the price of 1. It took 1 pitch. And it might have been a painful one as Hawkins surrounded that in his chest. And he and Przinski, longtime foes in the American League, talk about that as the inning comes to a close. Kelly Johnson's 3-run homer makes it a game. It's 5-3 Rockies. There's 20,000 fans at Turner Field get a 1995 World Series replica ring. Hope you'll join us as well early Saturday for the 6th annual Legends softball game. For tickets, visit Braves.com/alumni weekend. Manny Banuelos will check in and replace Shelby Miller. Braves starter gave up 11 hits, 5 runs in 5 innings of work. Banuelos will face the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for the Rockies.
Manny pitched 3 days ago, got his first major league win, went 5 1/3 innings, gave up only 1 run to the Brewers. Braves won the game 4-3. He was scheduled to pitch Sunday with the rain delay yesterday that knocked Alex Wood out after 2 pitches. That caused the Braves to shift gears. Wood will pitch Sunday. Banuelos, as you see, out of the pen.
First pitch, line drive to right. 1 pitch, 1 out. Barnes' perfect night ends. He's now 2 for 3. In a way, that works out rather perfectly for the Braves in this regard. One, you can get Wood 1 more start. Secondly, the Braves want to be very careful and be economical with the innings for Manny Banuelos. So give him a couple of innings of relief here. Save some of those innings bullets for the second half of the season. At least that's the theory. Second half of the year for Atlanta after the All-Star break will kick off with the Cubs, then the Los Angeles Dodgers.
First at bat of the year for LaTroy.
Troy Hawkins fits right into the Western motif out here in Denver, Colorado. He's a cattle rancher. I asked him about that before the game yesterday. He said, it's great. Beef is really expensive now. So he's doing just fine. And he'll take a called 3rd strike and have a seat. 2 quick outs for Manny Banuelos.
And probably said to Jeff Kellogg, thank you.
Yes, right?
That's only his 8th major league at bat and now his 19th year in the big leagues. He started in the Twins organization back in 1991.
His hitting coach said, hey, you took that one really, really aggressively. Good job. 2 outs for Charlie Blackmon. high strike. You ever watch the TV show Fast and Loud?
No.
Oh. Well, you should. It's a good show. They renovate old cars and stuff out of Dallas, Texas. Charlie Blackmon looks like Aaron Kaufman, the mechanic on that show. He's got a lot of MacGyver in him. He's give a toothbrush, some duct tape, baling wire. He'll make a 76 Eldorado convertible look like a Maserati.
Really? I might have to watch that.
It's a one pitch out straight back. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
There's a lot of shows on TV these days that I think Charlie Blackmon would fit in on. Good pitch. He spoiled it. With a real slow curveball.
Love the fact that Manny's not afraid to throw his off-speed stuff in a place where that's rumored to be difficult to do. Ooh, pretty good pitch. Just off the plate, full count.
Yeah, just a little wide.
And he lost him. 2-out walk. And LeMahieu's the batter. He's reached base all 3 times. You're going to give up hits. You're going to give up runs. It's the walks that kill you because it turns the lineup over so many times for this Rocky offense. And now you're in danger territory. The 2 All-Stars back-to-back on the lineup card, LeMahieu and Arenado. Change a strike. They go to the 9th in Pittsburgh. Pirates 5, Cardinals 2. They're in the 9th inning in New York. Mets lead Arizona 4-1. It's Noah Syndergaard pitching for New York.
Well, it's bad news for the Mets again on one of their young pitchers, Steven Matz.
Partially torn lat muscle. He's out 3 weeks. That complicates, I would think, the Mets' trade plans if they have them on July 31st. Trading deadline 3 weeks from today. At least the non-waiver trading deadline period. 1 strike pitch, runner goes, good jump, high throw to the plate, late throw to second, and Blackmon has his 23rd stolen base and his second tonight.
AJ's thrown out a couple of base stealers today as well, but no chance here because Blackmon went on Banuelos' first move and gave AJ virtually no chance.
And not surprising that the Rockies ran. They know a 2-run lead is next to nothing at this hitter-friendly park. 5-3 to score. And a 1-1 count for LeMahieu. Pull just foul. That would have scored a run easily. He missed an extra base hit by inches. 1 ball, 2 strikes. To third. Johnson knocked it down, kept it close, made the throw, and got his man by a step. A 2-out walk by Banuelos does no harm, and we head to the 7th inning. Bottom part of the order coming up for Atlanta. Time again for our AT&T U-verse trivia question. Shelby Miller's an all-star in his first year with the Braves. Who was the last Brave all-star selected in his first season with the team?
I got to go with you, Greg Maddux.
Greg Maddux? All right, I'm going to spread it around a little bit. I'll go Justin Upton. And it was Jason Hayward and Billy Wagner, all-stars in 2010.
See, I knew that.
Lined, a base hit by Johnny Gomes. Tying run to the plate.
It said Atlanta Brave, so I was trying to go singular.
So yes.
So there were Braves there. There was 2 players. So disqualification.
So the grammar police strikes in favor of the booth, and Johnny Gomes strikes in favor of the Braves offense.
Good start.
Tying runs up. Anderson Simmons, the batter. Uribe's grabbed a bat. He's on deck and will hit after Andrelton. And that's downstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. That's down the right field line. Will it stay fair? No.
There's some tough luck for Andrelton tonight. Years ago, there was in the collegiate leagues, there was a great team in Boulder, Colorado, and it was kind of owned and operated by a guy named Baldy Machete, and he was kind of the George Steinbrenner of the era for collegiate summer league. He wasn't happy with his team. It was always said about his team that he had one leaving, one playing, and one coming. That's kind of the way you got to run your bullpen here at Coors Field. You got one pitching, you got one warming up in the bullpen, you probably got 2-3 more stretching, getting ready to warm up.
1 ball, 1 strike. And tapped foul. A nice grab by Alex Wood at the railing. 1-2. Well, it's nothing new. It's been talked about the Rockies since the time the franchise was born. Will they be able to pitch effectively enough to be competitive enough in the National League West? One ball, 2 strikes. Popped back our way. They've tried everything they can do. They've drafted pitchers in the expansion draft, as you'd expect. They've drafted pitchers first overall. They've traded for them. They've signed them as free agents. They have not clicked on the combination that works.
A little pretzel there.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And a cue shot foul.
Goodness knows you've got to be patient, and I think about some of their former managers. Don Baylor, you know, Stillwater's run deep on Don Baylor, but he was always struck me as a guy who was patient, observant. Clint Hurdle, and now Walt Weiss. I mean, you hardly ever hear Walt speak, but when he does, he's got something to say. And I think they've chosen managers, Jim Tracy, same way, where they know that they're going to give up 5 or 6 a night, and you just got to roll with it.
Up and in. That's why I said last night, you can understand why this would have been an awful fit for Jim Leland.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't make enough cigarettes.
Right.
For him to go through more than 1 year.
But if you were the GM here, how would you try to build this team? You could say that the most successful clubs were the Blake Street Bombers, but back then everybody in baseball was bombing the ball out of the ballpark. It's not the case anymore. I'm not suggesting anything, don't misunderstand, but that's what they did. Everybody hit 20, 30 home runs for the Rockies.
I would do everything I could to help my pitching staff. You know, your suggestion of whether plexiglass or whatever that runs from that right field scoreboard all the way around to the left field foul pole. Even if if you added 6, 8, 9 feet to the height of the wall, that'd be significant here, I think. And at least give your pitchers the idea that you're trying to help them keep the ball from flying out of here.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Up and in. I don't know what.
It doesn't shrink the place.
No, I mean, but it keeps it in the park. Double or triple's better than a homer. I don't know what kind of grass they're growing on the infield, or whether the climate here would allow them to grow the thick, lush grass like they do at Wrigley Field. But that would help too. But I'm with you on the pitching part. Got to give him something. Runner goes, swing and a miss. Hundley's throw, short hop second, and in safely is Johnny Gomes.
And Hundley thought that maybe Andrelton fell across home plate and got in his way, but Jeff Kellogg was keeping a close eye on that.
Walt Weiss is going to come have a conversation too.
Jeff watched the throw, he watched the follow through. Didn't feel like there was any interference here. And it did not interfere at all with his throw and follow through. He did follow through in front of him, but no bump, and did not impede his follow through on the throw here.
Now, are they going to appeal the play of Simmons, or are they going to appeal the tag at second? Because that was a pretty close play too. Not sure which. But there is a challenge to this sequence in the 7th.
Well, I have to say that personally, with Hundley never even making contact with him, that wasn't a problem. Now, play at second base, that might be a problem. I don't think they can appeal the interference call anyway.
So that's correct, Joe. They are not appealing interference of Andrelton Simmons. They're appealing the call at second base. They're challenging the safe call at second base They believe they've got to strike him out, throw him out, double play. So this one's under review. Here's a look from center field.
Had to come up for the short hop. Nice catch by LeMahieu. It's close because the tag's so high. It's kind of hard to tell if Johnny's foot got in there ahead of the tag on the high on the hip.
And the call is overturned at second base. So a successful challenge by Walt Weiss. It's a strike him out, throw him out, double play.
That play was made by LeMahieu.
So that hurts. Juan Uribe, though, will hit with 2 outs. Braves have been doubled up 3 times in the game. 5 times already in the series. Downstairs, Uribe 1 for 9 against Hawkins in his career.
One of the things that's somewhat unique to LaTroy Hawkins is even though he works out of the stretch, he will sometimes not come set with nobody on base. He'll just kind of go like in a stretch and continue right on trying to quick pitch you like he did right there. And you've got to be aware of that.
Popped him up. LeMahieu drifts out. Cargo joins him. And LeMahieu makes the play. Gonzalez darted out of the way at the last second. And a promising start ends in a disappointing top of the 7th.
That transition for me was not only the hardest thing I've ever had to do, it's not what I wanted to do, but then I envisioned saving your 300th game and saving Maddox's 300th game, and knowing that if it gave us a better chance to win a championship, I was all for it. I learned on the job. It didn't start out well, but I don't think I blew any starters' games. That was more important to me than anything else because I knew how hard it was.
John's right about the not starting well in relief. And you'll hear more about that on John Smoltz Driven, a Hall of Fame career, premiering tonight at 11:30 on Fox Sports South. Every time, every now and then, a closer, I should say, has a bad day. Forget the first time John came on to close. It was the entrance music that I think threw him off.
Might have been.
Great stories in Braves lore. John did not have a entrance music song. as Arodys Vizcaíno takes over for Atlanta. And they're playing music in the stadium, and he came striding out of the bullpen, crowd going nuts, to ABBA's Dancing Queen.
Pretty special. Third game for Vizcaíno, inning in the third. No walks. That's key for him, and has a strikeout.
Sharply hit to third. Arenado is out number one.
But you can understand why he had that passion for wanting to make sure he never gave up a lead that would cost a starter. He could relate.
Braves have had some great closers in recent memory, even in Atlanta, with Smoltz, Billy Wagner, of course, Craig Kimbrell.
Don't forget Mark Wohlers.
Mark Wohlers was there too. You're right.
Alejandro Pena.
One out for Cargo. A solo homer tonight has highlighted his game. That came in his last at bat. This is still anybody's ball game. Braves are going to have their 1, 2, 3 hitters in the 8th. They're down only 5-3.
Clouding up the old ballpark.
Yeah. And it's already wet here because the grounds crew's begun to cry.
Well,
thinking about having to pull
if they'd had fireworks last night, I don't think they could have lit a fuse.
Oh man.
Oh, that doesn't look good.
No, it's already raining. A few miles from the ballpark, out of play, foul. And that is a story for Colorado. Over 22 hours of rain delay, 14 delays, and 4 rainouts.
Well, last night they went over the average of times they have to put the tarp on the field to 2 per game.
Mammoth fly ball center. Maben back is going to have room. 2 outs.
Can't believe that stayed in the park.
Here's Paulson. He's 1 for 3, an infield hit. That's fouled away. Strike 1. Back-to-back triple-digit pitches from Vizcaíno. Lightning begins to flash off in the distance.
Arodys is bringing it. Another 100. That is almost like a volcano, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. This guy is such, we've talked about when he first came back and was in Milwaukee, he's got such a great arm that if he's healthy and throwing strikes, my goodness, what an asset. Another 100. He's just peeling them off. Fultonevich last night broke out several 99s.
That's outside ball 4, a 2-out walk. We did ask Freddie if he thought about sending Fultonevich out for another inning of work last night. The answer Freddie gave us was yes. And the reason he didn't was twofold. One, his spot was coming up in the lineup card, needed offense. But secondly, he felt that if Fultonevich went out and had another inning of work, he may not be able to pitch at all the rest of this series.
Right, and that was a very good reason not to send him out there if you think you might need him again.
And as you said, even though he gave up a run, he looked great after that little blip on the radar. Struck out 4 men. Lined over second. McCudley has another hit. His second of the game. Paulson's on his way to third, and the Rockies are back at it with 2 outs.
And that's why you can't walk anybody in this ballpark. Because just like that, it either turns into a first and third, or it turns into a run or 2.
Descalso has tripled homer runs, scored, and he struck out into a double play. Ball 1. On a strike. We can just see the shafts of sunlight through the clouds. Right behind the scoreboard here, off towards left. Look at that. Just beautiful. But lightning is in the area too. Popped up. In comes Markakis. He says he's got it, and he does. And Vizcaino pitches out of 7th inning trouble. Beautiful sunset in Colorado. Atlanta looking for a beautiful finish. Down 2 runs. .04 Eastern time. Here are your Chevron probable starters.
Matt Whistler's been very impressive since he's come up to the big league club, going 3-1 with a low 3 ERA. Pitched well in Milwaukee despite what we considered not his best stuff, but he hung around, got outs when he needed them, pitched out of jams. And Jorge De La Rosa is arguably their best starter. De La Rosa's got good stuff. His ERA what it is because he pitches at Coors Field, but 66 strikeouts in 70 innings for De La Rosa.
Boone Logan, the latest out of the Colorado bullpen. LaTroy Hawkins, an inning in 2/3, got a couple of double plays in relief. And now it's Logan for the lefties at the top of the Braves lineup card. We're in the 8th inning.
2/3 of an inning last night, a hit and 2 strikeouts. Fastball slider guy, fastball low 90s. Need a base runner.
And a strike. Fans at the rooftop are getting an amazing view of the sunset and Mother Nature's pyrotechnics. From the northwest, on a try, fouled away. And it's a 1-2 count for Jace Peterson. That's up over the screen, back out of play. We'll do it again.
He's 94. That's about the top end for Boone Logan. That wasn't good. They're passing out rain gear to the security people on the field.
Missed outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Had 30,000 paid customers last night. A lot more than that for fireworks tonight.
And we might have a full house tonight.
And the Braves are a ball away from getting that leadoff man on here. Maben and Markakis to follow. Carpenter and Johnson lurking in the Braves bullpen. And strike 3. Peterson was on his way to first base.
Threw him a 3-2 slider, and just a get over slider, but a good one. PNC Bank Fox Tracks right there. Confident pitch.
You actually see the rain falling outside the ballpark. Nothing falling here. At least not yet. Here's Maben. Base is empty in the 8th. 5-3 Rockies. Outside. Ball 1. Wisps of rainfall. Swing and a miss. Gonzalez Herman started for Colorado. 3 innings of 1-hit shutout ball. Aaron Laffey 2 1/3 innings of 3-run ball. Kelly Johnson's 3-run homer. The only Atlanta offense to this point. LaTroy Hawkins 1 hit over an inning and 2/3. And now Logan tries to improve on a 2-1 count to Cameron Maben with 1 out in the 8th. Shelby Miller started for the Braves. 5 innings, 5 runs, 11 hits, 7 strikeouts. A big Colorado 4th inning. The difference in the game when they hit 2 triples, a double. And Gomes and Maben just couldn't cover enough ground to catch those deep fly balls in that inning. Jeff Kellogg looking skyward down the left field line. He sees that lightning flashing. The pitch. Full count.
Another good breaking ball. Started it outside and sweeps it in. Easy to give up on it.
Swing and miss. Didn't get a fastball. Back-to-back strikeouts in the 8th. Good news in Baltimore. Jonathan Scope hit a walk-off homer for the Orioles. They stunned the Nationals. That's a 3-2 final at Oriole Park at Camden Yards.
There's a good player that you don't hear a whole lot about.
That's a player we'll see the second week after the All-Star break. The Braves have 3 games with the Orioles in Baltimore. It'll be a homecoming for this man, Nick Markakis, who starred there for so many years. And he takes one too high. 1 ball, no strikes. Line drive into center field. Markakis, a 2-out hit. Oh, thunder and lightning. Let's see if Kelly Johnson can strike again. This is what happened in the 6th.
Breaking ball might have been a cutter. Our Toyota key play of the game. Turned a 5-0 deficit into a 5-3 game.
Remember, that was off the left-hander Aaron Laffey.
Yep.
Got the left-hander Boone Logan in the center of the diamond. Giants and Phillies are underway. It's 1-0 San Francisco. Great matchup. Madison Bumgarner and Cole Hamels are working. Brewers and Dodgers, no score in the second. Mets beat Arizona tonight 4-2. Pirates 5, St. Louis 2, a final at Pittsburgh, and the Reds beat Miami 1-0.
That was Tommy Kahnle. You saw in their bullpen. We saw him last night. He's got a real good arm and throws hard. He might be the guy, the next guy, if Kelly can reach.
Pitch, strike 1.
If he's going to pitch Kelly in, he's got to do it like he did right there. Really tie him up inside, make sure it's in off the plate. Now going away.
Not away enough. Base hit by Johnson into right field. 2 are on with 2 out. So that's going to force the hand of Walt Weiss. Braves have the tying runs on, at least you think it will. You've got Chris Johnson, who kills lefties, coming up, and he's swinging a hot bat in this ballpark.
Well, I like Chris Johnson against Boone Logan a lot better than against Kahnle, but Weiss is now coming out.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wanted to make sure Johnson was going to stay in the game. At least he will for the moment. And Logan got the first 2 on strikes, then gave up back-to-back 2-out hits. Game on the bases for the Braves. It'll be Johnson versus Kahnle, we believe. Atlanta threatening late.
Let's do this. And the Georgia Lottery.
Fans, slug your way to the Home Run Derby crown and master the free award-winning game millions are playing. Download MLB.com Home Run Derby free on the App Store and Google Play. Braves giving the Rockies an 8th inning finish. 2 on, 2 out, and it's Tommy Kahnle versus Chris Johnson.
94 to 97 on his fastball and a changeup to offset it. He worked an inning last night, a perfect inning, struck out 1 batter. 12 walks in 18 innings. We'll see how that works here with tying runs on.
13 different pitchers have already worked in this series for both ball clubs. We've got 2 more left before the break here at Coors Field. Chris Johnson is 1 for 3 tonight. Markakis and Kelly Johnson, the runners at second and first.
He had a couple of hits last night against the right-hander. He's swinging it well.
Fouled away, strike 1.
Chris likes to be able to inside out the ball to right center. But if you throw that fastball down and in, he's liable to drop the barrel on it and hit it out of here.
Like Robert Redford in the natural when lightning was flashing around. Maybe Chris can put him in front with a big blast. Pitcher's pitch, 0-2. Kahnle ready, and the 2-strike pitch is too high. Remember, Chris lost a bat in the stands. He's broken 2 bats tonight. Maybe he's got Wonder Boy in his hands in the 8th here. And off the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I don't know if he was trying to waste that or not, but he certainly was overthrowing it.
Swing and a miss. The Braves get a couple of hits. Johnson's retired to send this game to the bottom of the 8th inning. Electric atmosphere in Denver, but the Rockies lead late. stick with home field advantage for the World Series on the line. Our coverage of the 2015 MLB All-Star Game starts July 14th at 7 Eastern on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
David Carpenter on to work in the bottom of the 8th. His job not so simple, but hold him right there and give the Braves a chance in the 9th inning. This is his 3rd game, an inning and a third, 2 hits, zeros across with 2 strikeouts, and worked an inning here last night, gave up a couple of hits and recorded a K.
So 8-9-1 coming up for Colorado. It'll be Brandon Barnes to face Carpenter first. Barnes has 2 hits, an RBI. He's also been caught stealing. One slings downstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. Drew Stubbs is on deck. He'll bat next. Then Charlie Blackmon. Fly ball center and playable for Cameron. Maven has it. There's the first out. Andrew Stubbs will be brought back. It looks like Willeen Rosario is going to grab a bat. So it's Rosario, not Stubbs. Base is empty, 1 out. Rosario started the game last night, played first base. He had a first inning RBI double and scored the 2nd Rockies run of the night. He has the most pinch hits of any Rockies player, 6 of them, including a pinch hit homer. That good breaking ball you like so much.
And because, I mean, that's why he's got so many hits, pinch hitting, is because he hasn't been playing every day. He's been on the bench more than everyday play, because when Morneau got hurt, all of a sudden he was forced into action at a position that's not his natural position.
How about that reaction to a breaking ball?
Yeah, another good one. Oh, low, I guess. PNC Bank tells us at the bottom of the zone. Things have not gone the Braves' way for Jeff Kellogg tonight.
That's popped up. Foul ground. Chris Johnson near the stands. He's going to lean in. He's going to make the grab on the tarp. Beautiful play. Chris Johnson.
You know, all the way over to get this, he looked like, I got this. It's going to stay in. Save of the game. SunTrust, he's right there on it. Andrelton was going Spider-Man. Please don't punch any holes in that tarp with your spikes.
Good point. So 2 are out. Charlie Blackmon's the hitter. For you fans who wonder about David Carpenter, no, this is not the same David Carpenter that pitched for the Braves a couple of years ago. This David Carpenter was with the Angels. Braves signed him as a minor league free agent this past January. A.J. Brzezinski, in typical fashion, had a funny line. He went up to introduce himself to David Carpenter. Hey, what do you throw? He said, well, you should know, you faced me a couple of years ago in the American League. And A.J. said, I did? Couldn't remember. 0-2.
I like it because he's got a different arm angle. One would think that with that slider especially, and if he can get his fastball to do some sinking action, he might be a guy that would be primed for situations where you need a ground ball to get a double play.
Swing and a miss. An impressive inning for David Carpenter. He retires the Rockies in order. So we head to the 9th inning. Atlanta's down 5-3 in game 2. After this game for the second sellout crowd at Coors Field, over 48,000 are here. But weather is approaching. Fireworks show will be displayed, and that's okay. Mother Nature's fireworks show is much more beautiful. We've seen lightning for the last couple of innings flashing across the sky here in Denver, Colorado. And the Braves need some, as I said, thunder and lightning in the 9th inning. They're down 2 runs, and they've got to face John Axford, who is the Colorado closer.
Seen part of the order that he faced last night, beginning with Chris Johnson, then Simmons, and then Siriaco. He made an error, committed an error himself that allowed Simmons to reach, but otherwise struck out 2. Gave up a line drive to right for an out to Siriaco.
Braves bullpen, excellent work tonight. They've given the offense a chance to catch up. 3 scoreless, 1-hit innings by the Braves relief trio of Banuelos, Vizcaino, and David Carpenter.
Same as last night, same score. Need a base runner to bring the tying run to the plate.
Line drive into the seats, foul, strike 1. Rockies are 32-3 this year when they lead after 8 innings. Braves would love to hand them a 4th loss. 5-3 game, and wind is beginning to pick up and blow toward right. That means the weather is close. That's bounced off the plate. Axford has it, catcher running. He's got time, 1 out. Here's Johnny Gomes. Johnny is singled, walked, and flied out.
Upper 90s fastball for Axford 2. Slider and a curveball. Looks like they found themselves a pretty good setup man in Canely.
Outside, ball 1. evens it up. Ball and a strike. Simmons waits next.
He gets a good pitch here to hit here, so he doesn't have to go 3-1.
Up the middle, LeMahieu, long throw, beautiful play.
I think he called Descalso off on that because I'm not even sure that Daniel could get to it. For a big old second baseman, 6'4", 215, 220, whatever it is he weighs, he got good range. Nice play.
Shortstop's arm, too. Excellent play. And the Braves are down to their last out. It's Andrelton Simmons, who's 0 for 3 tonight. If he can keep it alive, Pedro Siriaco is on deck.
Andrelton's due a break. He's hit the ball hard a couple of times. And one that just went foul, and another was a line shot right at Barnes and left.
A bunt popped right back to the mound, and that is your ball game. The Rockies have won the first 2 games of this series in Denver. Very different weather, but the exact same score. 5-3 last night, 5-3 tonight. Axford with the save. Shelby Miller is defeated for the 5th time. He's winless in his last 10 outings for the Braves. He got only 3 runs of support here tonight in Denver. 5-3 is your final score. We'll wrap things up for you in Colorado in a moment.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Atlanta Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.